Still sitting in a truck seat that's older than your favorite pair of work boots? Your back has been filing complaints for years. If your seat is worn out, sagging, or just plain uncomfortable, it's time for an upgrade. Head on over to seatspecialist.com. Check out their selection of quality replacement seats built to keep you comfortable mile after mile. And don't forget to use promo code TR10 4U to save 10% on your order. Seatspecialist.com, because a better ride starts with a better seat.
Welcome back to That's Deliberate, where we talk about what's going on here in trucking, the good, the bad, and everything in between, the people that keep the whole thing running. So I'm your host, Trucking Ray, and we have an episode here for you. Get into something real. What happens when a driver can't keep pushing? Because when you're out there, we're just used to figuring it out, just grinding through it. But sometimes it hits different. Last time we sat down with St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. They talked about the things that drivers need help with, the moments where drivers hit a wall. The truth is, the part that hasn't changed, but what has changed is the level of support, the program, and the people stepping up behind the scenes. Diane Hutsell is with us again, and she is bringing back a lot of great conversation that stuck with a lot of folks last time. So we wanted to bring her back again. So I'm glad to have her running it back and going deeper into what's involved with St. Christopher's Trucking Relief Fund. Diane, how you doing? Welcome back to the show. So glad to have you here.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Always a great opportunity to spread the word about what we do and let people know how important we think the drivers are, and we're here to support them.
Wow, I feel so honored. You guys do such great work. I always look at your post and you see all the people you're helping out and the smiling faces. So yeah, I mean, you guys are doing great things. Just wanted to pick it up where we left off. Let's get started. If someone missed last episode, give them a quick rundown what St. Christopher Fund is, the relief fund, right?
So St. Christopher's, we are the only one of its kind, which is good and bad, but we will help drivers that get hurt or injured that are no longer able to be on the road. And obviously, if you're not on the road, you're probably not earning a paycheck, and that's really hard on your families. So while we don't pay medical bills, we can step in and pay those bills that you're normally going to pay, but it's going to medical. So we'll pay your rent, your mortgage, insurance. We will pay your electric bill. We've added where we'll kind of pay some cell phone bills in there too. So we're growing a little bit as to what we can do. We've expanded a little bit more on how much we can offer. The economy is tight. I've been following diesel prices. That was the the big story on the news this morning is diesel prices are going up. So we know that the smaller drivers out there are probably feeling that just, pretty hard. So if you're an over-the-road driver, or if you know one and you're sick and injured and you can't drive and you're in financial difficulties and you just don't know what to do, call us and we'll help you. And if we can't help you, we will give you directions and point you to where you can go get help. It's not just, oh, I'm sorry, we don't fund that. We'll get you to where you need to go to get help. So we're all in.
That's amazing. So, man, what's grown? What's changed behind the scenes? Or I know we sat down last time and talked. Are you seeing more drivers reaching out now than more than ever?
We're seeing more, which it's a shame that we do that that there are people out there, but we're happy to be there to help them. We've got a new easier to use website. So, you can go online and apply. That's how that process works. There's a very easy application process to start with. Yes or no questions that'll get you through the door to figure out if you're able to qualify, because there are a few stipulations. And there's also information on our health and wellness programs. So as usual, we offer, rigs without cigs. So if you're looking to get off nicotine, we can help you. We have diabetes prevention screenings. We have cancer screenings. We have where you can get vaccine vouchers. We are incredibly excited to be able to add to our health and wellness programs cervical cancer screenings for the ladies out there, because, I was at Matt's over the weekend, and unless you were colorblind, you saw that tribe of women in red all over the building. And so we're really excited to be able to support female drivers out there specifically and get the help that they need. Cervical cancer is one of those things that if it's caught early, it has a really good survivor rate. And so all of these services that we offer are absolutely 100% free. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, people like the word free. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Free money.
And helping out women, man, the moms and all the women out there that keep the world going. That's amazing. So what results are you seeing from like this rigs without cigs? How has that been going?
The rigs without cigs is going out phenomenally. We have we're based in Tennessee. And so just looking at our numbers, we actually have a better quit rate for cigarettes in the state of Tennessee than the state actually has, because they do track those numbers. So pretty much half of the drivers that go through that program, they've successfully quit smoking. About a third of them have cut back dramatically. So, people who've tried to quit smoking know how hard that is. And so we take that as a definite win.
That's
And
awesome.
we give different alternatives and kind of there's support groups to kind of help you get through that. And we even have a program that, you kind of get rewarded for, I've been off cigarettes for a certain amount of time. And so you get some perks with that, not
Right.
just good health.
So when drivers actually go through these programs, what surprises them most?
I think that I guess they kind of maybe think, well, okay, we're going to give you a pamphlet and we're going to brush you off, and then that's the end of the day. That's not it at all. I mean, we make real connections with our drivers. Our health and wellness staff are phenomenal. All of our staff, we really care about what we do, and so it's not just another day at the office for us. We really believe in the drivers. We all have connections. My dad, although he wasn't a driver, he worked for Mack Truck 50 some odd years ago when we still lived in New York, and we all have connections to that. So we know how it affects people and being on the road and how hard it is, not just on the driver, but on the families that they leave behind, the wives or the husbands in some cases that are staying behind, kind of holding everything together. So, I think just the fact that we humanize it. I think we're not just, like I said, not just going to be a pamphlet and wish you on your way and wish you good luck. We really care about our drivers and we want them to succeed.
Yeah, I can tell. And the passion comes through, the excitement. I mean, when I follow your posts too, you see all the great things you guys are doing over there. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah. What helped get the cervical cancer screenings on as the next thing or next program?
Just that natural progression. I mean, you've got 10% of the drivers out there that hold their CDL are female, and that number is going to grow. And again, those women in trucking, they're pretty intent on, is this a level of the playing field and getting everybody out there. So we want to be able to support everybody. So, we just are looking at different ways that we can grow. And it's our goal to eventually never have to write checks, because the way our funding works, if you're in need, we're not just going to write, like, so if you needed funding, right? We're not going to write you a check. We're going to send it to your landlord or your electric company. So we're very conscientious about how we treat our money and make sure that it actually goes to where it's going to go. So it would be great if one day we didn't have to do that. I mean, truck drivers, though, a lot of people think, oh, you're just a truck driver, and they don't eat, they don't have the opportunity to get out and exercise, or it's a fairly sedentary lifestyle, or I don't imagine many are stopping to get a salad for lunch. So we just want to kind of give them those tools to stay healthy. We're on the road. So it would be a wonderful, wonderful world if, we didn't have to write up checks to help people with heart disease or diabetes. But we're glad that we're here, and, we're 18 years we've been around, and we plan on being here for another 18 years. It's a little bit bittersweet. We lost Dr. John last February, who was one of our, along with, Dave Newman, the guys over there, one of our founders. And so it was a little bit bittersweet being at Matt's in Louisville this last week, where we would have, drivers come up and say, I needed a CPAP machine, and Dr. John just picked up a phone and just called somebody and had it for me within a couple of days. So we're just trying to continue his legacy of being there for the drivers, whatever they need. And so when something new comes up, we're going to stop and go, okay, how can we make this accessible to our drivers? So who knows what's coming next step for cervical cancer? Something.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I didn't know if there was a rise of that, or a mammogram, or what's
just, it's like I said, it's really treatable if it's detected early. They figure there's about 14,000 new cases every year in the United States. And so again, that early detection, that's really critical. So if you can get it early on, the 5-year survival rate is about 91, 92% if it's caught early, but then it drops significantly as it spreads, as if you catch it a little bit later. So, we all have moms and wives and sisters and women in our lives. So, definitely encourage them to get that checked out. This is something that I know our health and wellness crew have been working on for a little while, been keeping their eye on, and it's finally those at-home cancer screening kits have finally been approved. And so we've been able to get access to those. So if you're interested in one of those and you want to get your cancer screening, any of our cancer screenings, you can go online and fill out a little bit of information, and then that kit is going to be sent to their home. And then you follow the instructions or whatever it takes, and then you send it back. And then usually within 7 to 10 days, you'll get results. If the worst happens and you get a positive result, then that driver's going to be offered free telehealth appointments for that follow-up consultation to kind of figure out, okay, what are my next steps? But we really encourage all the women out there, drivers, to reach out to us and, put us to work, make us work for our keep, and get everybody that we can get screened as much as we can. And especially we're an office full of women. So, we're like, gosh, we haven't really even thought about that ourselves. So, it's making us think about ourselves too.
Yeah, if you're anything like my wife, you tend to not want to go to the doctor because it's like, I don't want to have to argue and fight for this and get that tested and get poked and prod. And I mean, it's just, so yeah, the human side of it.
The what if, you're always worried about something bad, could show up. But again, the earlier you get detected, the easier it is to cure. So go get your stuff checked.
Yeah, you got to get your stuff checked. Yeah. So yeah, awesome. So that's great. I didn't know if there was something that was actually going, something that truckers were dealing with more of, having trouble with cervical cancer. So I didn't know if that's what sparked it or something. But
yeah. I mean, I know there's studies that are out there done, but the women drivers, they're kind of left on that background. I don't think people study the health effects. I haven't really found a lot of studies on what it does to them. Nothing's really been done on that. So that might be something that would be, good to look at down the road.
Yeah.
But right now, like I said, they've approved it for at-home use. So we were ready to go as soon as they said, go for it. We pulled the trigger and we're able to get that ready and available to our lady drivers out there.
So how fast did things go left for a driver when they have health issues pop up? And maybe you hear those stories from drivers, they were doing great one day and then all of a sudden getting hit with things left and right.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. And unfortunately on my end as director of philanthropy, because I'm always curious as to why people donate or how they found out about us. And just a perfect example is we had one that she donates on a regular basis. I mean, it's wonderful that she does that. And so she said what had happened was that her grandfather was a truck driver and he died early, but then her father was a truck driver and he had a heart attack. And his option was stay home, recover 100%, maybe not have a job, but be healthy, or then get back in the cab and get on the road and driving. And he unfortunately passed away relatively quickly after that first heart attack because he wasn't allowed the opportunity to stay home. Because it was, I have to get on the road, I got to get in the cab, I got to get this delivered. And so if it's between taking care of your family and taking care of yourself, that's kind of the one common denominator that I've come across with most of the drivers that I've met is that, if they've got a family, they're there to protect their family and they're going to do what's right, no matter what it does to their health. So, I mean, it can happen at a heartbeat. You can be out and you can have a heart attack. We've had that before. You think you're fine, you think you're healthy, and you have a heart attack when you're on the road. Well, what are you going to do? You can't work. We've had folks that have had strokes. We've had drivers that have, broken a leg or broken an arm. And even though that's not a permanent or a life-threatening condition, we've all, oh my gosh, I broke my foot walking my dog last summer. So, I mean, it happens in the speed of light. And so you just don't know when that's going to happen. And so what do? A lot of people don't really plan for the worst, or the economy being what it is, it's really hard to put money away for those rainy day things when terrible things happen. So again, we're just thrilled that we get to be here and we get to be of service and to help our drivers.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. I mean, man, your team is in the middle of all that. And, how do you stay grounded and doing what's this kind of hard work every day? What keeps you going? Because, as a trucker, we got to get back in the truck, like you said, just got to keep going. I mean, you're getting in the chair and you're getting on that keyboard. Man, that takes a lot of work too.
It does, but we've given out over $5.4 million. And like I said, I just came from MATS, which those of you who are in the trucking industry, I don't know how you don't know what that is, but that's the Mid-America Trucking Show. It's one of the largest. There's 45,000, 50,000 folks there over the course of 3 days. And that right there, to me, that is, I love being able to fundraise. I love, seeing these good stories, but my highlight of the entire weekend was people coming in and saying, well, Dr. John did this for me, or I was sick last year, and you guys sent us a check and we're great now. And so my next question to them is always, are you back on the road? And every one of them was, I'm back on the road. So to me, that's what kind of keeps me going, is these are real people. They have real problems. And again, a lot of people don't, unless it was COVID and you weren't getting your toilet paper, people didn't really think about truck drivers and the role that they play in this world. If it was brought to you and you've used it today, you've probably better thank a truck driver for that. And, I see that my brother-in-law has a CDL. He's not over the road, but he drives a milk truck and he hates snow. And so, if you don't have that, then what are we all going to do without our drivers? And so to me, being able to hear thank you and to get to see their kids' faces and their wives or their spouses, I mean, that right there that's my bread and butter. I mean, I like going home feeling like I've helped people at the end of the day. I do this for purely selfish reasons. I feel good at the end of my day when I get to help people. But, they're doing an important job. So somebody's got to be there to have their back. And I'm glad I get to be part of that. I can't imagine doing any other industry.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, I got a chance to go to Matt's as well. And when you're there, I mean, the more you go, the more you feel like you're amongst just a great community.
Yeah.
And everybody is well spoken of each other. I mean, it's not like you're out to get the other person, like you hear about some media programs. So, yeah, I love taking a break and getting there. I mean, man, that's a great place to network and get to know each other on a more face to face, because you're doing this stuff online. Like the show I do is also online. But actually be able to shake hands with individuals that you get to talk to. So
they're
really
always
nice.
They're so good to us at Matt's anyway. This is I don't remember how many, multiple years, but they let us host the silent auction every year for the last several years. It's an amazing fundraiser. It's $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 that we raise in an hour and a half. And this year was even better than last year. We had 50 different things as part of that silent auction. We had things like we had air conditioners from Be Cool. They were great. This is the multiple years that they've given to us. TA Petro, they actually had a really cool collector's like racing helmet. Mud Flap donated. Shell Rotella, who has always been an amazing partner with us at St. Christopher's as well. And then House, is a 1-year supply of all their goodies, and then, swag. And so we had a really good time, got to meet a lot of our people. And Truck Parking Club, they're a wild and crazy bunch of guys. And so they donated a smoker, and, it was a great evening to just sit down and talk to everybody and raise funds. And we had the wheel where you can come in and for $1 you can spin the wheel. And so we have great partners, ConXSeal. They give us great little, prizes. Everybody's a winner on the wheel. And so we raised about $2,000. I don't have the final numbers on that quite yet. And then, we do the 50-50 split which was so phenomenal, is I don't know if you know what the 50-50 is. You pay for a ticket, and then at the end of the evening, St. Christopher's keeps part of it, and then somebody actually wins half that money. Well, the person that won donated a large chunk of that back to St. Christopher's. So it was just a nice, warm, fuzzy kind of evening. Everybody celebrating everybody else, and just a great community from, suit and tie wearing folks to the truck driving families that when their dogs, because they all had their dogs with them. Next year, we're going to have dog treats at our booth. But yeah, it was, Matt's was great and special, and just, it's always one of my favorites.
Look at that. I mean, I wish I could have made it all the days. I was only able to make for one, so unfortunately I had to keep working. But yeah,
it was a long 3 days.
Yeah. I was so exhausted when I got back to the hotel. I just flopped on the bed. I was like passed out.
Yep.
And yeah, but man, Matt's is a great place. If you're a trucker out there, please, you have in your career, you have to try to get to Matt's at least once. I mean, I think it's great. I hope it never changes. The vibes that are going there are just so nice. So very nice. And then also too, connecting on the industry. You mentioned you're wanting to connect more with podcasters and voices in the industry. Why is that so important right now?
Well, I mean, obviously my job as director of philanthropy is to raise funds. But what I've discovered, because I just celebrated my year anniversary 2 weeks ago. So I'm thrilled to be here at St. Christopher's. But the one thing that we hear all the time is, how did I not know about you? We had one logistics company. We've been here for 60 years. How have I not heard about you? And so that's always my first and foremost is getting in front of the people that can spread the word to their drivers, whether it's state trucking associations, ATA, Ambest has been fantastic too. Us Women in Trucking have been great. Podcasters like you are phenomenal to help spread the word. I mean, Dave Nemo was one of our founders, and so as long as we can, whether you need it yourself, I mean, maybe you don't need it now, and we hope you don't ever have to need us, but maybe you will down the road, or somebody. We've had people that came through just over the weekend and said, my son has been injured and I've been kind of taking care of his bills. And so we said, well, okay, so that he's in financial difficulty. She said, well, no, but I've been paying his bills. Yes, you've been paying his bills. Let us pay his bills for him for a little while. So that's my goal is to get in front of as many people as we can. We've had some great traction with Peppercom, who's a marketing firm that has donated a lot of their time in getting press releases out and getting the word about St. Christopher. So we've had some great traction there. So we're definitely looking to expand that. We're looking to broaden the people that we work with. So we have, Pilot and CA and Shell Rotella and that kind of a thing. But we're looking, the actual truck manufacturers, Mack Truck, Peterbilt, Volvo, that kind of thing. Great Dane kind of came in this last year and is a new supporter last year for St. Christopher. So we're looking to broaden that with the insurance companies that support drivers, because, we can maybe save some money out of your pocket where we're helping the drivers and we're all, supporting the same cause. So yeah, I'm pretty shameless about what I do and being able to talk about it. I mean, I was at Buc-ee's on the way home. It was my first trip to a Buc-ee's. It was insane. It was just insane. But you're standing there in line waiting to pay for your barbecue sandwich and your banana pudding, and you hear conversations, and inevitably you go, well, do you know what I do for a living? Like, we can help you, So wherever I go, it's just spreading the word of St. Christopher's and all the good stuff we do.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Buc-ee's can work with Truck Parking Club and get some places where we could park right next to it. Because man, no trucks allowed. I mean, I'm always going to be hard on Buc-ee's.
They are. If Buc-ee's, if y'all are listening, if you know anybody, you are missing out on a good segment of guys. They're wild, but they're growing. It's crazy what they've done over the last 3 years. But just all the services out there to help drivers. I think that's a growing segment, and I think that's a wonderful thing to be able to say we've got you guys, our drivers have support.
Yeah, I mean, they got a great business model for making revenue. I think they mentioned that a truck takes up more space, so they kind of target families that can come in, and that makes sense. I get it. It's nothing that great. Just they're not opposed to truck drivers, but they just don't make as much money on us, I guess. So I didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Dave Nemo. I mean, those guys are doing a great job. I used to hear you guys on there as well.
Yeah.
Really sad that show came to an end and he had to retire.
I know. I saw Jimmy Mack when we were over the weekend, and we've talked and touched base, and he's passionate about what we do and supporting drivers, even though they're not on the radio. It kind of broke my heart when Dave said, we kind of feel like the trucking industry is done with us. No, I don't think so. I don't think he realizes how much we appreciate everything that he's done, not just for us, because without him and the others, St. Christopher's wouldn't be here, but just for trucking in general for the last umpteen years, or however, 50 some odd years.
Wow.
I think it's been, so.
Amazing. Yeah, Jimmy Mack, man, I love those guys. So thank you so much for bringing that up, talking about it, getting on with podcasters. We try to keep spreading the word for other podcasters to have you on and talk about that. So keep going with that. And how can people get involved? If someone's listening right now, what's an easier way for them to get in there and support what's going on over there for you guys?
Yeah, they can go to our brand spanking shiny new website. We're really proud of it. It's truckersfund.org. And if you are a driver that needs assistance, if you want to learn how you can quit cigarettes, or you want to get a cancer screening kit, or if you want to donate funds, it's all right there. Pretty easy to follow. You're always welcome to give us a call, and we'll kind of answer whatever questions you have. Like I said, we're based in Knoxville, Tennessee, go Vols, but we cover the country, and we treat everybody like they're just down the road from us. So we're not this big fancy schmancy nonprofit. We're regular people like everybody else, and we just want to be there to help our drivers. So go online, give us a call, find us on LinkedIn. We've got Twitter, or X, I guess is what the kids call it now. We even have Instagram and all that kind of thing. So we're out there. for
Yeah,
sure.
that's awesome. What's the numbers? I don't know if you can share. What's the numbers of percentage where the money, which way it goes, or I know
The
there's.
the bulk of our funding that we do goes to help paying mortgage and rent. Obviously, I think that's just to scale. And then it goes down, I think, electrical or electricity and stuff, just because again, things are so insanely expensive. And then just as far as health and wellness is we see a lot of folks with heart disease. We see a lot of people with diabetes. Those are kind of those top illnesses and injuries that we see down the road. And then with our cancer screenings, our numbers have risen a lot on those. Just people being a little bit more aware, being a lot more proactive. You can get vaccines, you can get flu, pneumonia, COVID, shingles. You can stop at any of the different sites that we have across the country that partner with us, where you register for that vaccine and we get you set up, and then you can go and stay healthy, not get the flu and not get COVID and shingles, which are terrible if you've never had them. And so yeah, we're growing. We want the health part to grow, maybe not so much the health, and we hope people stay healthy, but I'm always out there. We had a great year with our sponsors as far as bringing in funding. They had the goal of driven to 1 million. We cracked 1 million this year, which is great. Again, considering what the economy is, you've got donors out there that are giving less, but not in our world. Our donors are here for the long haul and here to support drivers. So if you are one of my donors and that you have not gotten a handwritten note from me, just take your time and you'll get one of them in the mail. But we appreciate everybody that supports, whether it's when we had volunteers Thursday night at the auction that helped us set up for that. People that have gone through and helped sort through our medical files, as we do have a bit of a paper process. We have an amazing board of directors that is active and involved and love what we do from all sorts of segments of the industry. And so we've been very blessed. We are small but mighty. We're a very small staff. We have a very small overhead because we want all that money to go directly to the drivers.
Nice. That's awesome. And that's a big difference where people want to give their money and donate, because if they know like maybe only 2% is going, they kind of get a little reluctant. So good job, guys. And you got a pet program coming, or you already have that, or what do you got for pets?
Right now it's our cervical cancer. We're really excited about that.
I mean, for animals.
For animals, okay. So one of the things I've got in my brain, talking with the folks at Road Dog Care Company, we've been working for them. I don't know if you know Bob and his crew. They do great things. And so May is Pet Appreciation Month. And you've got 50% of drivers out there that drive with a 4-legged friend. I was going through dog withdrawal myself for 4 days. I didn't have access to my puppy, although he's a 95-pound puppy, so I don't really know if that's a correct term for him. But so we're going to do kind of like what Shell Rotella does with the super rigs. We want to do a smaller version of that, or at least start out small, and have drivers submit pictures of their little 4-legged friends. Although there is a driver, I think, that travels with goats, and there's one that I think has like a chameleon or something. To each his own. So we're going to have the dog care category, and then we're going to have the other. And so we're still kind of banging out the details on that one, but that way everybody can go and vote on our social medias as to, best dog, best scenic picture. We're still working on the categories on that one. And the goal is to have it where you can win your own Road Dog Care Company. And so they have great products that if you're on the road and, you can't really shower or whatever, and they've got body wipes and they've got, deodorants and that kind of a thing. And, we've heard from our own drivers that we've kind of helped, that their body wipes are really good. They're big. They don't get in your beard. They don't disintegrate. So I can vouch for their energy drinks as well. Even I need a little energy, but then they also have another side to it where you can take care of your dog. They have dry shampoo for your dog. They have body wipes, and I have used the dry shampoo on my big old baby boy because he's a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and you're not really supposed to give them a lot of baths because they don't have an undercoat. They're African dogs that were bred to hunt lions. He's just been killing sops today, but I can attest to the products that they serve. So we're going to kind of piggyback with them and kind of come up with something fun. And, we all love our kids, but Charlie's my second baby. And so we're going to give everybody an opportunity to show off their little fur babies.
Nice. Yeah, I remember you having the dogs on the last episode. So yeah, it was nice.
He's a beast.
Yeah, we love our animals. So yeah, that's really good. That's a great idea, and it's a great project to get started, and hopefully it goes through. Yeah, so we see the results on that as well for a lot of truckers out there. So yeah, man, that's great. I'm so happy for you guys and so happy for a lot of the truckers in the community. I see a lot of great things happening here. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. And at the end of the day, the industry runs on people. When life happens, and
Yep.
it will, it matters who is there and what you're able to do to help these individuals. And like I said, that St. Christopher's Trucking Relief Fund there. I mean, you guys are doing great things. Thank you so much.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. And thanks to everybody that supports us. We can't do it without them.
Yeah. So make sure drivers out there aren't alone, that they can get things that are real to help them get through life. Diane, I really appreciate you coming on the show. And what's the best way for people to reach out to you so that they don't get lost? I mean, there's a lot of information out there. Where you can
Yeah,
send them.
you can Google St. Christopher's Truckers Fund, but just truckersfund.org. That's our handle for our LinkedIn and our Facebook and our website as well. So pretty
Wow,
easy
makes
to follow us.
pretty easy. Nice. So, Diane, really appreciate you coming back on the show, talking with us. I know there's a lot of good things coming. And I know you guys are also looking to expand social media and outreach and get people more aware of what's going on. So
Yes.
I really hope that works out. And so anybody out there, please share this episode with someone you know, someone you love. If you see what you like and like what you hear, please share it with a friend. Subscribe to That's Delivered, and we'll be sure to come out with more episodes like this for you to enjoy and be aware of, for professionals to know what the industry has to offer, not for just trucking, but also for life. I got my shirt too, trying to support.
Love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
hard out here for a trucker. So on the back it says hard out here for a trucker.
That's what I'm saying this weekend. I saw so many neat shirts. I'm like, we need to come up with our own for St. Christopher's. It's
You
kind of
do?
funny. So
Yeah. T-shirts is the way to go. Even if that you're not selling a ton of them, it's just nice. It's fun. Put the stuff out there for people
oh
to
yeah.
enjoy. Yeah, yeah. I like t-shirts. All right. Well, thank you, Diane. Thank you so much for your time. I'll go ahead and get this episode sent out for you. For anyone out there listening, please share it with someone you know, and be sure to check out truckersfund.org.
Truckersfund.org. Yep.
There you go.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Are you a trucker looking for a safe and reliable place to park? Look no further than Truck Parking Club. With locations across the country, we've got the perfect spot waiting for you, whether it's daily or long-term parking. And right now, use promo code DELIVERED at checkout for an exclusive discount. Reserve your spot today at truckparkingclub.com and drive stress-free, knowing your parking is covered.